Hello and welcome to the Games Kingdom. My name's Carl King and this is the first in what I hope will be quite a few playthroughs of different games that I own, and hopefully over time some that I may show from other people if I can lend a few games to show you. And today's game is Everdell. And with Everdell, the base game, we're also going to be including the new Pearlbrook expansion. And the game is set up as per a normal game against the AI player, which we'll be doing today. In addition, you have the Pearlbrook River, and you have additional items from the new Pearlbrook expansion. They are mainly the wonders, which are these 4 items here. These small islands replace and are placed over the onboard events, special events that you've got in the base Everdell game, and they are purchased in the normal manner by spending resources. You place a worker on the space and you pay the resources, but part of that resource is the new pearls that come with the Pearlbrook expansion. And to get those, you need to go to the Pearlbrook River, and you get there by placing cards into your city as normal. And once you meet the requirements of placing those cards, i.e. you have 3 of these cards in your city, 2 of those, 2 of those, or 2 of those, you can place your new ambassador onto one of those said spaces, and you take firstly the resource of the pearl, and that's on the card if the card has not been flipped, and you also get a second pearl from the supply. If the card has previously been flipped and the space is open for you to actually go there as a action with your ambassador, because only one ambassador can go into any one of these locations at any one time. If that card is flipped, you only get 1 pearl from the supply. The additional pearl is only there for the initial flipping of the card by the first player to go there. When you are on there, there will also be on the card some text, and that will give you a set of requirements, and if you can fulfill those requirements, it either is cards or certain things within your city and or resources, you can do that action as a secondary action of flipping the card, and if you can complete that action, you get the benefit at the bottom of the card. If you don't, then your only reward as such are the pearls or pearl, depending on if it has not or has been flipped. So you get pearls that way. You can also get them by taking them as a resource, where it says take any 2 resources, for instance on cards like this. And as I say, the wonders are purchased at any point by playing your worker into the space and taking the wonder that you have purchased, placing it next to your city, and that is yours. At the end of every turn, all of your workers and ambassador, if you have placed it, come back to you as normal, and even though that space is then free, if the wonder is gone, another player cannot take it from you or get a similar wonder. There's only 1 of each in the game, but there is no limit on the amount of wonders a player can actually take or purchase. It's just that you obviously need to have a set amount of resources, and they are quite expensive. These 2, for example, you have to pay 1 of 3 different resources and pearls, and discard 2 cards. This one you pay 2 of 3 different normal resources and 2 pearls, and again get rid of 2 cards, and they have to be from your hand, not from the city. And over on these, there are 2 of the resources and 3 pearls plus 3 cards to be discarded, and the 25 point, highest point wonder in the game is 3 of 3 normal resources, 3 pearls and 3 cards. So you're getting rid of 12 resources and 3 cards, but you do score 25 points. So they are quite expensive, but they are quite lucrative to have at the end of the game. If they're not bought in a normal game, then nothing happens. But as I'm playing the AI player today, any that aren't bought by me during the game, the 4 seasons that we play through, the AI player will be building up a stash of pearls that he has gotten by moving through the river. At the end of the game, all he has to do is pay the cost in pearls, and he can take, starting from the highest points value, he takes the wonders that he can purchase. So if at the end of the game, for example, I hadn't bought any of the wonders and he had 8 pearls left, he would buy these 2 highest point ones and also this 3rd highest point one, giving him a total of 60 victory points. So when you're playing the AI player with this particular expansion, you have to be mindful that pearls are very important, even though they're very hard to come by. He is going to be amassing those. You need to either build up a lot of points throughout the game in the normal fashion, or you need to grab at least one of those higher point ones, because if he gets a minimum of 6, he's going to have at least 45 points when you start to tot up your victory points. And most of the time, if he gets those 2, I think he will win. I've played a couple of games now off camera, and so far I've not been able to defeat the AI player, simply because building up those pearls is very difficult, because you have to lay cards to be able to go to the river to get the pearls in the first place. So you're immediately going out onto this area of the board to get resources, to put those cards down, and you have to have them in groups so that you can go onto the river in the first place. In the meantime, every season that goes by, he's moving down the river and he's accumulating pearls from all of the cards, whether they are flipped or not. So, for example, at the start of the game, we roll this dice and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 4, so his ambassador starts here. He takes the 2 pearls, so he's already 2 pearls to the good straight off the bat, and he just flips the card. Now, he doesn't get any of the additional benefits, but he's already 75% of the way to buying one of these 2, because all he needs is 3 pearls. So he's bound to get at least one of those from there if I don't get a sort of a move on early in the game to start building up to be able to get into here on at least the spring or summer season. And that's going to be quite difficult to stop him getting at least 2, I think, every single game, which is what he's managed so far. So, as I said, the game sort of goes on as a normal game. He starts to block off areas. Each time he gets a worker, these things go out onto the board. His workers move around the board and block off different spaces every season. So for instance, in the first season, I can't go onto this card because it's only a 2-player game. That space is not open unless you're playing 4 players, and he's blocked this, and they're only a 1-hit space because they have a closed circle. Any areas of the board where you can place a worker which has a broken circle, any amount of workers from any amount of players in the game could go to that circle, place a worker and take the resources. We've also got, as I said, the forest locations. All of those have only got 1 open space per card. we have the haven as normal in this, where any amount of people can go at any point during the game, and you discard a card from your hand, and for every 2 you discard you can gain a resource of your choice. And in the last season of autumn, this is open and you place a worker here. The higher point ones, the 3 highest point ones, are only single player, and the back one is open to as many as you wish to put on there, but you get points equal to those. But immediately you get to autumn, in this particular scenario, he straight away goes on to number 5, so you can never claim that because he goes first straight away in the autumn season. He will also start from spring, blocking off cards 2, 3 and 4, which means I can't go there, and he's the only player, if we roll the dice, to gain those cards if he has a worker on them. And he gets a card from the meadow numbered 1 to 8 every single time I play a card either from my hand or purchased from the meadow. If I put a card into my city, we roll the d8, that's the number, he takes that card, it goes into his city. At the end of the game they can also give him potential victory points, but he also, if any of these special events are left over, if any of those cards come up as these doubles on the event cards, he also gets those, and at least 2 of those up there have got additional victory points straight off the bat, and some have got, if you've got other things in your city. So he's going to be accumulating points even though he's not placing workers in the normal sense of the word during the game. He's going to be placing them in specific areas every single season, and he's going to gain cards every time I play one. So every time I play a card for a benefit for me, he's also getting an additional benefit. So as I said, I've played a couple of times off camera. He has beaten me quite substantially both times. So let's see if any lessons have been learned, and we can get a bit closer to the Rugwort Black Rat AI player. So my first action in the game is going to be taking 2 resources of any type. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 berries. And they go into my resource. Now because I haven't played a card, he doesn't get to do anything, and it's literally back to me. So I've got a second worker in the current winter season, and let's see what we're going to do. I am going to go here and get a pebble. So that's the end, very quickly, that's the end of the winter season. So my workers both come back and we get the workers from here. So I get an additional worker, and so does the AI player. This goes on card number 2. His worker moves counterclockwise down 1, and this goes from there to there. Because I didn't get across to the river, he now flips this card because he moves down, as I said earlier, every single turn, and he gets another 2 pearls. So already he has got enough pearls to buy one of either of those high points, wonder, or he could potentially, if I bought both of those, he could buy both of those at the back end. But he's potentially going to get more of these because it's potentially not going to be any chance of me getting down to this next one in the next turn. So he could, at the end of the game, have at least 8 pearls to be able to spend in this area, and if he does, he's going to guarantee, if they're still there, to get at least 3 of those. So back to me. And we are going to go with this again and get 2 resources, and I'm going to go for 2 pebbles. So again, because I haven't played a card, it's still with me. And I'm going to go for 2 resin. So, still with me because I haven't got any cards on the table. This is not going particularly well, but the cards in my hand are quite expensive for me to play. And I'm going to need to do something drastic, I think. And let's go into here and take 3 twigs. So again, very quickly, that's the end of another season. So I get my workers back. His worker moves across to here. This one is going to block off that space. We both get an additional worker, and he's now blocking card number 3 as well. So I can't take either cards 2 or 3 during the game. So again, it's back with me, and I need to try and get some additional resources. So I'm going to go for a resin and a card. You take a card from under the Ever tree and you place it into your hand. So it's still with me. I haven't played a card as yet, so he doesn't get to do anything as such. But now I am going to play a card, and I'm going to play the castle, and that is going to cost me 2 twigs, 3 resin, and 3 pebbles. But because I've played the castle and the king is in the meadow, you can see that on the king card the word castle is in the top left hand corner, and that means that at any point, if you have a card like this, instead of paying any of the costs to play that card, if you've got the card listed in the top left hand corner already in your city, you can play this card into your city for free. So that's going to go there, and a new card is drawn. But because I've now played 2 cards, he's going to draw cards from the meadow. So he takes card 4, and again card 4, which would have come out there, and that card goes there. So it's back to me. So I'm going to go here and draw a berry and another card. Again, I haven't drawn a card. So it's still with me. I've not got any cards in my city that allow me to go to the river as yet, so perhaps I need to be looking at doing that. So I am going to play the wife card, which costs 2 berries. No, I won't be doing that. I'm going to play the shopkeeper, which costs me the same. and that goes into my city, and because I've played the card into my city, he gets to roll, and again rolls number 4 and gets another card from the meadow. So I've still got 2 workers to play. I'm going to go here, which gives me a pebble, a berry and a new card. And for my last action this turn, I'm going to go on here, which gives me a twig, a resin and a berry. So again, that's the end of the summer season, and we literally take these workers down. One of his workers goes here, one of his workers goes there, but unfortunately in this particular scenario he captures one of my workers, so when I take all of my workers back I only have 5 to play this turn, and not the 6 if I had been playing with other human players. So he's now blocked off cards 2, 3 and 4. He's also got 5 points from the journey, and obviously he's got another one of these cards, so he flips that and takes 2 more pearls, so he's now up to 6. So he's going to be taking both of those again, so you can see that this this can run away with you, because getting those river cards out is critical, and if you don't get the cards to be able to play, it is a bit of a lottery in the fact that he's going to romp away with the points again. So let's see what we can do. There's the cards that have come out onto the meadow don't help me either. So if you haven't got the resources, you can't obviously play the cards into the cities, and the problems just tend to snowball. So let's see where we are and go from there. So we've got cards in hand and not too much to be able to do, unfortunately. I'm going to play the farm card, which costs me 2 twigs and a resin, but for playing that I immediately gain a berry. So that goes into my city, he gets to roll and he takes card 3 into his city, which is then replaced, and his worker is put back on it to block it again. So I've still got my 5 cards in hand, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Doctor, which costs me 4 berries, and he gets another card, and he gets card 1 this time, and then that card is replaced. So I've still got that should have moved across to there, sorry, because it's the next round. So I'm going to go here, and I am going to take two resources I'm going to take a twig and a resin. And I'm going to, because I haven't played a card, it's back to me, so I'm going to use those resources. And I'm going to take this card, which is the mine. I gain a pebble for playing it immediately, but he gets to roll for another card because I've played a card, and he gets card 3, and we replace that as we did previously. So I've now got 3 of a particular card in my city, which means I can go here. I get to take 2 pearls, and I get this card. I can't meet the conditions on the card, so I do nothing else other than that. I have not played a card, so again it's back to myself. So let's see what we need for I'm going to go here, get a twig and a piece of resin. It's still with me as I haven't played any cards. I should have got an additional pebble when I played the mine. So I'm going to go here and take 2 twigs and a new card. Still with me because I haven't played a card into the city. I'm going to go here and take a piece of resin and again another card. Still with me. I'm going to play my last worker onto here with 2 twigs, 2 resin, 2 pebbles and 2 pearls to gain that wonder. And that's the end of the game. So we now go to scoring, and I have got 15, 19, 20, 24, 25, 27, 31. So I can already say that I'm going to lose because he has 6 pearls, which he's going to spend buying the 2 main wonders. So that's going to give him 45 points. Then he, from his cards, 46, 47, 51, 55, 60 points. And then he also gets an extra 2 for those. So he's got 62 points. So again, that's a resounding victory for the AI player. The Pearlbrook expansion has made it very, very difficult to beat the AI player. When I played before using the Pearlbrook expansion on all of the 3 levels that you can play in the campaign, 1, 2 and 3, it wasn't particularly easy, but you had a fair chance against the AI player. I do think that the AI player gains too many pearls too quickly, and there's not a lot of scope for you to stop him getting at least 4 and most games 6, simply because you start the game with no resources, so you have to build those up to play cards, and the only way you can get to the river to get pearls is playing cards. You could take them as resource choices, but then again you're limiting yourself because all you're doing is taking those, and these cards don't come out every game, so there might not even be a chance to take any generic resources. You can discard cards, but again that's limiting your choices into playing cards into your city. So as I say, I do think that the AI player is probably a little overpowered in that respect, but it is what it is, and you have to play with it. You can obviously house rule it. I think the game would be a lot better when you've just got players doing the interactions, because everyone's in the same boat. If you don't get the resources to play stuff into your city, and you've got the right cards and the right amount of cards, you can't go to the river, which means you can't get the pearls to buy the wonders. But at the same point, even if you're doing that, you've still got to go into other areas of the board and get the general resources to buy these, because all he's doing is gaining pearls and spending pearls at the end of the game to buy those wonders, where you've got to go 3 or 4 times on the board, if not more, to get, as I say, some of these are 3 twigs, 3 resin, 3 pebbles and 3 pearls. Well, the most you can get is 1 pebble a turn on the main board, and potentially 1 here and 2 there, but that's going to cost you potentially 2 or 3 workers just to get that one resource, and you've still got to get the twigs, the resin and the pearls to be able to do that, and you only start with the 2 guys in the first season. So you've only got really 2 actions, because you might get enough to get a card out on the table playing your first 2 actions in the winter season, but if you spend them, you've got to start again to try and get the wonders. So as I say, it's very difficult to beat, I think, the AI player in this. I may have to have a game again, and instead of giving him 2 pearls, just give him the 1 from the card, because it is very, as I say, very powerful that he moves down the river every single season. So he's getting 2 straight off the bat. As soon as you play 2 workers, he gets another 2. That's an initial 25 points, and you're starting with nothing. From that basis, you're already, way behind, because it's very difficult to play cards to get enough points on the board to block that. I mean, even if he'd have only gotten the 10-point wonder, I've only got 12, 14, 16 points altogether. If you have any pearls left at the end of the game, they're also worth 2 points. So if he'd have got all 8, he'd have spent all 8, but even if I'd managed to get 2 of the cheaper ones and he'd bought the 2 dear ones, his other 2 pearls are worth another 4 points. So again, there's all these things that you need to consider, and it's very much in favour of the AI player. It's still a very good game, but I think it's, as I said, I think it's a little bit too powerful for the AI player straight off the bat. Maybe it should be that he flips the card at the first card and doesn't get any, and only gets them when he moves them down. But it's in the rules, you know. Let's play it as it is. So overall thoughts, still a cracking game, cracking expansion, some nice additions. Certainly I'll be looking forward to getting this on the table with 4 players playing it with the expansion. Would I play this with the AI? Potentially not too many times unless I tweak it. So we'll leave it there, guys. Everdell, still a thumbs up. Pearlbrook, a thumbs up for humans. And the AI, he's a rat. Bye.